Hi guys, today I want to read you an excerpt from Al Gore, Our Choice. I chose this book to read something to you from because I know that in your science classes, I remember sitting in Miss G's class and you all were talking about these things with the global warming and things like that. And so I want to read you something, and then I will want you to respond to that, and you can respond to it here on Schoology. But what the part I want to read to you has to do with making choices, and it's called Our Choice. Like anyone, I sometimes wish that I could go back in time and change mistakes I've made. I wish I could take back something I said or change something I did. It's easy when you look back to see what you did wrong and what you would do differently. Sadly, we can't travel back in time and make different choices. None of us has the power to change the past, but all of us have the power to change the future. The choices we make now will decide what the world will look like 20 to 30 years from now. 20 years from now, if I'm still alive, I'll be an old woman, but you'll be a young adult. Can you imagine your children asking you about the climate crisis? Can you imagine them asking, what happened when the ice caps started melting? What did people do when they learned about global warming? And what did they do to save the planet? So those are some questions I would love for you to address as you think about making choices. I want you to listen again to what I want you to kind of discuss in an essay type of a paper in paragraph form. Complete sentences. I want you to talk about things that maybe choices that you've made that you wish you could change, and what you would like to happen for the future. And then I want you to think about what you talked about, not only in science class, but again, as we're talking about global warming and we hear it on the news and things now. Can you imagine your children asking you about climate crisis? What are you going to say to them? Can you imagine them asking, what happened when the ice caps started melting? I've seen lots of things on TV recently where they're looking at the polar bears and how their ice is melting, and we're looking at trying to keep them alive to survive. What did people do when they learned about global warming? What was people's first responses? And what did they do to save the planet? Think about that. Think about your responses. Think about things that you've talked about, like I said, in your science classes. And then let's put that science and the ELA together, and let's write about some of that. The book is called Our Choice, and it was by Vice President Al Gore. And I was lucky enough to meet him in a workshop I was in. He was vice president with Bill Clinton. So if you would please, go ahead and do that, and I'll be looking for responses this week in Schoology. Thank you. Have a good one.